the Achilles Strike Drone Battalion, together with the National Guardsmen and paratroopers, defeated an assault group using heavy armored vehicles that was supposed to isolate the Ukrainian salient on the left bank of the Oskil River. Footage of the destruction of enemy vehicles was posted on the page of the Achilles Battalion of the 92nd Separate Mechanized Brigade. The Russians continue to put pressure on the Kupiansk direction, keep trying to storm the village of Krup'yakivka, and finally encircle the group of Ukrainian troops on the left bank of the Oskil River. On December 11th, the Achilles drone operators, together with the guardsmen of the 1st Bureviy Brigade and paratroopers of the 77th Airmobile Brigade, defeated one of the armored vehicles that was trying to break through to the village. The soldiers managed to defeat a group of 8 armored vehicles on the approach: 1 T-80 tank, 3 MTLB armored personnel carriers, and 3 infantry fighting vehicles were destroyed. Another tank was seriously damaged and abandoned by its crew. A few days earlier, during a similar assault, the invaders still managed to break through to the outskirts of Krup'yakivka with losses and take up residence in the outermost buildings. The morning fog and poor visibility helped them to do so. Soldiers of the Bureviy Brigade, supported by Achilles drone operators, then had to drive the Russian infantry out of the building, having previously destroyed 3 enemy armored vehicles. The Khyber-Boroshno Geoint project geolocated, here, the main battlefields and buildings occupied by the Russians before the National Guardsmen's counterattack. The Russian forces have been in control of the left bank of Oskil since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. These positions were significantly pushed back due to the Kharkiv offensive, gaining a significant portion of the left bank near Kupiansk. However, since the beginning of August this year, Russian troops have become more active in this area and launched an offensive, as a result of which they managed to advance towards Pishchany and approach the riverbanks near the villages of Krup'yakivka. The capture of Krup'yakivka will allow the invaders to finally isolate the formed outpost of the defense forces, leaving them with only 2 river crossings in Kupiansk and Sadov. The 3rd bridge in the village area is currently destroyed. Militarny previously reported that Russian troops landed on the right bank of Oskil and tried to gain a foothold to the north in Novomlinsk, but were knocked out by fighters of the 10th Edelweiss Mountain Assault Brigade. North Korean troops have engaged Ukrainian Defense Forces in the Kursk region. Some military officials report that North Korean units have already engaged the Ukrainian Defense Forces units, using the tactic of a mass infantry assault in open terrain. The offensive was carried out by infantry platoons of 20 to 30 people, which were fired upon by the artillery of the defense forces. According to the DIU, the Russians are currently preparing Korean soldiers for direct participation in battles at the positions of the Ukrainian military in the Kursk region. North Korean units have been ordered to join forces with adjacent Russian units involved in clashes with the defense forces. The deployment of military personnel to the front is carried out with the use of civilian vehicles, namely trucks that resemble water delivery vehicles. In addition, on December 13, 2024, according to intelligence, a contingent of the North Korean military was put on high alert with orders to await further instructions. The aggressor state will soon involve DPRK soldiers in direct assault operations. They have recently received additional food supplies, the DIU officials noted. Earlier, Militarny reported on the involvement of the Korean military in combat operations in the Kharkiv region. However, this information was not confirmed by the intelligence of the Charter Brigade, which did not record North Korean military in its area in the Kharkiv region at the time. Nevertheless, Bloomberg reported that the North Korean government might gradually involve a group of troops of up to 100,000 troops in the war against Ukraine if the partnership between Pyongyang and Moscow continues to deepen. Bloomberg noted that such a move was not inevitable, and that military support of that magnitude, if it occurs, is likely to be provided on a rotational basis rather than in a single deployment. In turn, Ukraine's ambassador to South Korea, Dmytro Ponomarenko, made his own assessment in early November. In an interview with the Voice of America, he said that Kyiv expected up to 15,000 North Korean troops to rotate every few months. Ukraine will receive additional ammunition for its American-supplied high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS, alongside equipment and training for its forces, as part of the Biden administration's latest weapons package. The truck-mounted launchers, manufactured by Lockheed Martin, can carry a range of munitions, including the Supersonic Army Tactical Missile System, ATACMS, and have proved themselves a particularly effective weapon. Used by Kyiv to strike targets in eastern Ukraine, the system has been described as the country's backbone against Russian aggression and as a symbol of Russian vulnerability.